Hello, folks. Welcome to Kudlow. I'm Larry Kudlow. There's a growing view inside the mainstream media that President Joe Biden's recent legislative victories and his speeches that MAGA Republicans are a threat to democracy and are semi-fascist, that all that's going to give the Democrats midterm momentum. And they're going to take that to overtake the GOP by snatching victory from the jaws of defeat. Well, I'm not buying it. And here's why you shouldn't either. First of all, the new legislation is not popular. By 36 to 12%, an Economist YouGov poll shows that voters believe the IRA, so-called legislation, will actually increase inflation. And as for the student loan cancellation and vote buying, a poll from another network shows by 59 to 38%, voters believe that this, too, will increase inflation. And by the way, the latest inflation report for July was 8.5% year on year, and the inflation tracker from the Cleveland Fed predicts 8.2% for both August and September. And as far as Biden's attack on 74 million Americans who voted for President Trump in the last election, well, new polls show that his speeches were a disaster. The Trafalgar Group polling likely voters shows 56% believe it was dangerous rhetoric, over 20 points more than those who believe it was acceptable campaign messaging. And just today, the Rasmussen report, also likely voters, finds that 46% say the upcoming midterm election is a referendum on Biden's agenda. Only 40% think it's more about individual candidates. So these early returns that Mr. Biden's outrageous, hateful, and divisive rhetoric, alongside huge new tax and spend Democratic legislation, they all suggest the Republican cavalry is in very good shape here 61 days before the midterms. Another lesson, please never believe the mainstream media. Of course, voters are going to cast ballots against Biden's authoritarian, dictatorial, big government socialism. Mr. Biden took a booming economy without inflation and turned it into a high inflation bust in a little more than just a year. His war on fossil fuels has driven gasoline, oil, natural gas, and coal prices sky high. Ditto for food prices on grocery shelves. He can't even get proper baby formula on store shelves. He has spent massively, raised taxes, and launched the biggest regulatory assault on business we have ever seen. Consequently, real wages for working folks have fallen steadily. He's not only obsessed with climate change without ever providing any alternative replacement, he is similarly maniacal about repealing all the successful Trump tax cuts, gave us the lowest poverty and highest family wages in 50 years. He wants a battery economy, but he won't let people mine the resources to develop it. His allies want to end gas-powered cars, but are now telling EV owners they can't recharge their batteries. Why? No electricity. Why? Not enough fossil fuels. He has weaponized the Justice Department and the FBI against his archenemy, Donald Trump. He lied about the miracle of Operation Warp Speed. He has stifled free speech, calling parents domestic terrorists and pressing social media to evaporate the Hunter Biden laptop story. That story, by the way, could have changed the outcome of the 2020 election. He lied about the Afghanistan exit being a great success. He lies about the open southern border, the millions of illegals crossing it, and the scourge of fentanyl that has come with it. Not only has his economic version of central planning been a complete failure, but he has resorted to an authoritarian, dictatorial, divisive approach that is devoid of the truth. But the good news here, Americans are a lot smarter than Mr. Biden seems to think. They will reject his perverse vision of America, and that is why I believe the cavalry is in good shape as we enter the final run for the roses. All right, that is my riff this evening.